Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tuckahoe Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for June the 14th, 2017. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Nancy, please call the roll.
Member Fiore?
Here.
Member Lang?
Present.
Member Palladino?
Present.
Member Jackson?
Present.
Chairman Ringwald?
Present. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the May 10th, 2017 meeting. Are there any comments, additions, deletions?
None.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I abstain.
Okay. Next item is 5 Circle Road. It's a return. It's an area variance. Applicants here, please step to the mic. Welcome. State your name and address, please, for the record.
My name is Dmitry Astashkin, and I am regarding property on 5 Circle Road.
Okay, thank you. Dimitri, we can keep this relatively brief. A month ago, you were in front of us and you gave us your assurances that you would finish the front of the property.
Yes,
And you have done 85, 90% of that?
90% is done, but all last week it was rainy, so I couldn't do the stucco outside because it's no point to do the stucco. And I said 2 days, I need 2 days. By Friday, the stucco will be finished.
So you're telling us now that you'll have the front of this complete by this Friday?
2 days. I need 2 days. 1 day for a door, 1 day for the corners. Yes.
And when will the stucco be painted?
Usually that's what they told me in the paint store. They said you're not supposed to paint it for 30 days. If you want me to paint it right away, I'll do it, but I don't know how it's going to work.
No, obviously, we want it done correctly. So basically, you need another month to finish this.
No, I will finish it by Friday. You know, if you'll tell me another month, paint it, yes. Another month, paint it, yes. I'll paint the front, yes.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Well, Dimitri, I think the problem is I laid out very clearly what my expectation was. The one thing I'll give you a pass on is the electrical cans in your porches. I know that that's not up to you. That's based on the inspector not allowing that inspection to take place because of the interior of the house. I'm afraid for me, the other stuff should have been done. I'm just one of 5, so don't worry about it too much. But I laid out to you very clearly what I expected. I expected when when one of the neighbors walks by, as of today, they should not be looking at an unfinished house. I understand all your extenuating circumstances. I understand you got lots of reasons, but for me, it's not done, and it's been 30 days.
Because I'm sorry, but like as I said, you know, like I tried to cooperate with you. I said I ordered the doors didn't arrive. I had to change them. I did. It's ended up way more work than I anticipated when I said yes to you guys, because I ordered the doors prior our last meeting. I waited for another 2 weeks, and because I gave you my promise that I will do it, that's why I said I canceled the order. I purchased the door. I end up reframing the whole front of the garage, and like I said, the corners and stuff like this. Yes, I didn't have to do it. Maybe it was my mistake doing the corners of the garage, trying to do the garage as nice as possible, but just because I thought you want me to do the right job. You want me to do the best possible job for a neighborhood.
I agree,
And
I'm glad you're doing a good job.
know,
But let's not forget also, we are 4 months from the time in which you wanted to renew. And at that 4-month time, we told you that this has to be done. And at that 4 month, we told you just the exterior. So we're not talking 1 month. This is a 1 month extension on what's already been taking place.
Yes, but again, you know, like maybe I misread, maybe, you know, like because I did do the Stucco last time, but, you know, when you do the Stucco when it's cold or when it's rain, it's not going to stay.
I can appreciate that, but I hope you can appreciate the fact that at this point, I was on camera. I told you at that last meeting that if it was not done, I was a no, and I have to be man of my word, and that's, I apologize, but
I understand, yes,
Thank-
but I am.
No,
Thank you.
it's an excellent point. No reason for apologies. You know, you've promised us over and over, and we're back here again. And yes, you got 85, 90% done. 90% done. That's great, but it's not done. So
Are you,
let's the public hearing's still open. Let's see if anyone from the public would like to make any more comments, and then we'll proceed from there. All right? So, as stated, the public hearing is still open on 5 Circle Road. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak regarding 5 Circle Road area variance?
Anthony Laurie, 123 Waller Street.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Jackal, you were correct. You gave him an extra 30 days. You said 4 months. Here we go again. Same story. The last time he just used an excuse, rain. It didn't rain for the last 30 days. I don't know what block you live on, but I only live 2 houses away from this project, and it didn't rain 30 days. Yes, I know it rained almost one full week, okay? You know, they put stucco on buildings down the city in the winter, summer, spring, fall. They put retard in the cement to put it on. I worked construction. I'm not going to be baloneyed. And now here we go again. Now he's going to tell you he needs another 2-3 days. Friday he's going to finish. I don't believe one word. Not one word, because this neighborhood has been a mess for the last 2.5 years, and it's going to continue. And then he's going to come back in 2 days. He's going to say something else was misordered, something else didn't arrive on time. And that's a good possibility. But you gave him 4 months. 4 months have passed. 2.5 years have passed. Are we going to just keep piling it on, more excuses, more excuses? He was the man who came here and said he read all the rules and regulations. He was well aware of it. So if he's well aware of it, he's been handed Santa Claus gifts for the last 4 months. Now, I don't know how much longer you guys are going to do this, but you know, years ago I hung a political sign in front of my house one time when Mr. Pinto was running for mayor. I had the building inspector at my house in 1.5 hour saying that he could find a dozen violations on me. I had to take the sign down. Now here's a man going on 3 years working on a project, and it hasn't been completed. And I just don't believe the man. Believe me, I don't believe the man. Now that the rest of it's up to you. I sure hope I have some faith in you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Laurie,
Laurie.
if I could ask you a question. Given that the individual has completed, let's be generous and say 85% of the work.
Okay.
Right, and I think you could at least agree with us that he has been working on the property more
Okay.
this past month than in the past. Would you agree with that?
Well, he says part of it rained. Like I says, give it the benefit of the doubt. Didn't rain 30 days.
I mean, I've driven past there 2-3 times in the month, and I've seen him out. I've seen someone out there every day
Absolutely.
working away, so they
Absolutely.
are working on it. I mean, in your opinion, is he at least trying? He's trying to finish this outside for you guys. And I mean, is something where it's progressing to the point where you're feeling like it's not?
We're being
eyesore?
snowballed.
Well, do you feel like this house is progressing now? Are you comfortable with the fact that it looks like it's wrapping up at least?
It
on the
doesn't look
outside?
like it's wrapping up. He still has all the side of it yet to finish. All the side of that house is all gravel yet, and that's a lot of concrete to finish. He still has to close all in underneath the roof area. He still has to put a rail on top of the garage yet. There's a lot of work yet to do. Don't think that in 2 days he's going to finish this project. There's a lot of work yet to do.
So just to understand your preference,
You want to give him 2 days? You want to give him a week? Okay. But give him the time that week or 2 weeks or 2 days, whatever you're going to give him, make it be completed. Don't come back here with more excuses. We've heard enough excuses.
what I'm saying though is that let's say we turn him down, okay? Then we're stuck with that house sitting
Exactly.
there.
I know you said that
And-
the
and
last
I
time.
just want to make sure that
Yes.
you
No, I don't want.
that.
I don't want to see it like that for the next 10 months or 2 years, 3 years. I want to see it completed, but I don't want a baloney story coming here every time he comes here that he needs 2 more days. He needs 3 more days. We're giving the man. You guys have been generous. You gave him everything he's asked for and more. And I could understand what you guys are saying.
I understand,
Let's,
sir. It's
let's
just
get
that-
this completed.
Right.
And
So-
that's what I'd like to see, get it completed. But don't, you gave him 4 months. Now you gave him 30 days. Now he's coming back and asking for more time. Okay, give him the 2 days, give him the 3 days. Just get it completed. That's all I'm asking. So we could have a nice looking area for the summertime. Instead of having trucks coming in here on Saturday, coming in here delivering containers and whatever have you.
But you're, let's say in a perfect world,
We're never going to be in a perfect world. You know that.
let's pretend and dream that we
Okay.
live in a perfect world, and the board gives this gentleman 30 more days.
30 more?
Let's say that, for the sake
Okay.
of argument.
All right.
Would you prefer that, or would you prefer that it's shut down and sits there?
No,
'Cause
I don't want.
That's
I don't want to
literally-
see. I don't want to see it shut down either. No,
Mr. Lawyer, that's literally the decision here.
Yeah.
Is do we give him 30 more days, or do we shut it down?
no.
That's-
I'd say give him the benefit of the doubt. Give him 2 more weeks.
We'd have to go to next month.
So the problem is it has to go to next month. Cause
Okay. All right. Give him the 30 more days, and let's have a guarantee that he's going to finish in 30 days. Okay. I don't want to come back here. I don't want to waste your time.
I want to
Yeah.
make sure you understand the decision.
Okay.
facing us
You want to
here
give him
tonight.
30 more days, but I want to hear him come back here in 30 days say he's completed. Let's not come back. They gave the wrong mixture on the truck. The wrong steps came or whatever have you. Because, you know, we could go on with excuses day in and day out.
I agree.
So you want to give him 30 days, like you says, Mr. Palladino, it takes another 30 days before we come back here. Okay? Let's give him that and see what happens. Okay? I'm fair with that.
Thank you, sir.
I think that's fair. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else from the public who would like to speak regarding 5 Circle Road? Okay, here's my opinion. 1 minute, please. I agree with all the comments that are made. For the record, I'd like to point out, my understanding is that your time ran out at the end of last year. You stepped forward and asked for an extension or a whole new variance, a whole new variance. Weather got in your way, we understand. You stood here 30 days ago and said, I promise I'll be done. You got 80 or 90, 95, it doesn't matter, 99%, you didn't finish the front. We don't want to see this place sitting vacant for the next, how many years it'll sit in litigation. We don't want to do that either. Nobody wants to do it. But this is it. This is it. You need to finish this, or the next meeting, the answer will be no, and it'll be the end. All right? I mean, Mr. Laurie's correct. We've been more than generous, and whatever. The reasons don't matter anymore, all right? You need to finish this. This is my opinion. Absolutely. Step to the mic, please.
I appreciate everything, and my question is, what do you want to see in 30 days? Because, you know, they mentioned the...
I think in the last meeting, we clearly I literally laid out to you down to the fact that I wanted a gate on the side of your house to cover all that crap that's sitting on the side of the house.
Right.
I could not have laid out more clearly. I want it stuccoed, painted, finished, railings, porches closed up. I want it to walk by that. I want one of your neighbors to walk by that house and it not to stick out. It should look like it's done, like someone's living there.
But you know, to your point, the railing on top of the garage doesn't really change the picture, because I'm just realistically to do the railing on top of the garage, that's going to take a long time. But if the garage finish, it's like pretend
I
nothing
personally don't care about the railing because you can't see a railing
happened.
if it's
that-
there or
that-
not.
that's
But
because, you know, the gentleman made a point about the railing on top of the garage. So as far as this to finish the stucco, paint, gate.
Gate.
What-
You get the electrical inspection, cover the cans, finish the porches.
Yeah, but that has to be clarified.
I understand, all right, and as we discussed in the work session, that's something out of your control. Okay, the rest is in your control.
Yes,
The same things, you can go and watch the tape from last month that you agreed to do.
I agree, yes.
The gate, the stucco, the painting, the front needs to be done.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to leave this public hearing open for another, until the next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Anyone opposed?
Nay.
I abstain from this. Yeah.
Okay, we have one abstain, one opposed, 3 approved. Public hearing stays open till next month. Dimitri, please. We don't want to shut this down either, but it's at the end, it's over. It either gets done or it's denied. Yes, finish the front, so as Member Jackman said, it appears that somebody is living there. It doesn't look like a construction site.
I think at our previous meeting, we had discussed with the gentleman that you should at least not be able to see the side. And I think the compromise we arrived at was that he would put a nice gate in front of it so you couldn't see all that junk behind it.
No, but you got another side of the garage, on Mr. Volpe's side, that has to be,
I would have to look at that, sir.
Is
I'm
that
not
the
quite
left
sure.
side with the hole in the stucco? Yeah, you need to finish that hole on the left side, you know. So like you did 90% of the stucco and you stopped. All right.
But that's what happened, it fell, it won't tell, but it fell. That's right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is 180 Lake Avenue. Is the applicant present? And if so, please step forward. State, I'm sorry, yeah, you were originally asking for an area and a use variance. In the work session, you led us to believe that you're going to remove the request to make this a three-family house.
That is correct. Sarah Hollerman, I'm here for Jonathan Hodosh, who is the applicant. He
Okay?
wasn't able to be here tonight. He's the architect, and I believe we would like to continue to the July meeting, if possible, so that he can be here to present.
Present,
The drawings, and et cetera?
Yes.
Okay.
so you're dropping the area variance. You're not requesting a three-family house anymore.
Dropping the
Use.
Use variance, sorry,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, we would be dropping the use variance.
And
I
you
think-
just be seeking the area variance.
I think what the applicant's looking to do is to have you guys set the public hearing for next month, and then they're going to present at that time, and then you could have the public hearing at that month. You could open it tonight.
But then
just
she's
to
going to
see
run
it.
into the fall, correct?
The concern is that the architect isn't here to present that.
Oh, okay.
I'm here on his
All right.
behalf. We have public here who would like to speak.
Good,
If
good.
there's any way that we could present at both hearings, I'm just not sure.
Sure, I just,
Absolutely. Just to remind you, what we would do is make a motion to open the public hearing. We'd listen to the public. We would then keep the public hearing open until next month. Anyone who's not here can come next month and speak. We could then possibly close the public hearing in the following month and hopefully, give you a ruling at that time. But we can open it in here tonight, yes.
Okay, and the original applicant, the architect Jonathan Hodosh, could speak at the July meeting as well on behalf of the project
This is absolutely,
as the
yes.
applicant? Okay,
Absolutely.
Excuse me. What I'd like to say is, just realize you're making the presentation next month. That doesn't give you, that will give you a decision next month, because you're just
We
making the
understand.
presentation. It's gonna be, made to
understand.
the public and everything
I
else.
just want to understand,
And
you,
there's no meeting in August. I want you to realize that, okay?
so you might be running into September, as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah. Well, they don't have much choice,
Well, you're going to run it, you may run it to September either way that you do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, do you want to come, you have to come
Yeah,
up
you
to the
need
microphone,
step to the
actually.
mic. Thank you.
Sorry, state your
I'm sorry,
name and,
State your name and address, please.
Jonathan, 180 Lake Avenue. So, just so I'm clear, if we extend this to next month so Jonathan can attend the meeting. as
I'm
well-
sorry, you need to speak into the mic. Thank you.
So if we extend the meeting until next month so that Jonathan can attend as well, does that automatically mean that the earliest is September, or is there a potential chance that it can be, we can receive a decision next month?
There's a potential chance, yes. It's not automatic, no.
But not having that presentation
It's not a
tonight makes
guarantee either,
little-
though.
He's only making the presentation of what they're gonna do next month.
Right, but think this through. If no one else from the public has any objections next month, and we agree with the presentation, we could, in essence, make a motion to grant the variance.
Tom, that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think you gain anything by postponing this.
okay, then we'll present tonight.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Do we have a board, do you have drawings that you want to put up on a board?
Do you have a?
Let's, yeah, let's get a board for you.
And what I do have is, the front elevation that we submitted is slightly revised. I have copies here, showing, as our site plan calls for a covered porch. and the elevations we show don't show that porch roof
Mm-hmm.
that we submitted. These are the correct elevations showing that porch roof.
Do you have one for each of the board members?
Yes, I do.
Actually, we can take those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Did you keep one for the whiteboard? We could share if there's not enough. Make them happy.
Okay, also I have existing photograph of the front of the residence. Okay, perfect.
Or you just put them at the bottom. Oh, yeah, that works too. Thank you. So if you can just walk us through essentially what you're looking at doing and what variances you guys are looking for.
Okay, so the existing project, it's an existing two-family home. It's in a Residence B two-family district. Mrs. Donovan purchased the house earlier this year. The existing lot is undersized as to area, where 7,500 square feet is required. The lot is 5,022. The parking requirement currently is 2 spaces per dwelling unit. There are presently 4 parking spaces. 2 are in the existing garages and 2 spaces on the existing driveways. However, the driveways are in the front yard, and so technically that's an existing non-conforming condition, I believe, since they are in the front yard. The lot is presently conforming as to front yard, side yard, rear yard, and maximum building height. We're seeking to add an enclosed vestibule and a covered porch at the front of the residence. This would allow interior access to the first and second floor apartments, which are currently accessed by 2 doors. The door to the first floor apartment goes directly into the living room, which doesn't have any type of foyer, so this lets air out and in and causes, there's no real place for a mudroom. The porch and the vestibule entrance would enhance the neighborhood by giving more of an appearance of a single-family residence, and it also provides security and more protection from the elements. The proposed porch would be accessed via stairs to grade on either side of the current driveways.
Sorry, could I ask you one quick question? I'm not sure if you can answer this or we need to wait till the architect shows up next month. Do you know how you're supporting the little, so you're having a porch and then the vestibule kind of pops out on the porch, right? Like a couple feet onto the porch, correct? So how do you support that vestibule? What's holding up that structure?
I think they keep going off the house, I would imagine. They keep going off this way.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Is it just 2x12s or what are they?
There is an existing stoop there, and I imagine that we would keep probably the existing stoop structure and build on top of that if it's adequate. If not, we'll probably put 2 posts.
Oh, I see. So you're going to build essentially on top of where the stairs are coming out onto right now. You're kind of bumping. Okay. All right. I got you.
You're talking about there's a little, underneath the porch, there's a little space, it looks like for trash, oh, excuse me.
What's this, where the stairs come down here?
Right underneath the stairs, there's and that's where the what do you call it, the little
Yes. So
outcropping will be.
either we would probably do posts on either side of the garage doors if we were able to span fully with that deck, and then build the vestibule on top of that with supporting structure in the deck structure, or if needed, we would keep part of that existing stoop, because that's essentially the footprint that we're looking to build this vestibule on, is that existing stoop.
Okay, I mean, I won't be at the next meeting, but that might be something just for the architect, just like to clarify how kind of that structure is going to work in the middle.
Well, there's going to have to be a need for several posts because that far girder is not going to span those 3 parking spots. And those 2 posts may interfere or may not make it conducive for a parking spot to be there.
Even if they did steel or something? They're probably not going to do steel, but.
Not going to put steel across 30 feet, 34 feet.
Okay.
We can take a look prior
Yeah.
to the next meeting.
Just
to
let us know what you're doing.
Quick
check the
question,
feasibility of
excuse
the
me.
structure.
The deck that you, the porch that you, is the porch going to be extended, or is the porch remain the same size? No, I'm not talking width-wise, I'm talking,
Depth-wise into the front yard.
yes.
Yeah.
We are looking to extend the porch further into the front yard than the existing stoop is. Sorry, let me just. So the existing stoop is about, the vestibule that we're proposing would be 5 feet into the front yard, as the existing house is right at the front setback, required front setback line. So the enclosed vestibule would be 5 feet into the front yard, and then we're looking to extend another 3.5 feet past that with the porch, so that a person could walk on either side of that vestibule if they wanted to or needed to.
But what is the current, essentially, so what he's asking, I think, is what does that, right now you open your doors and you walk out on kind of a landing area. What is that landing area right now? Is that the same 5 feet? Is that what you were asking, John?
No, the porch, we don't have any measurements, or we just have a drawing, that's all. The porch is, let's say, 5 feet. I don't know what it is or it isn't, okay? You're gonna actually now build a, what do you call it, a little vestibule out 5 feet. So you're gonna have to extend the porch out even further, okay? Which, how should I say, encroaches on the variance requirement for the front yard. The front yard's supposed to be 25 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
I think she said 3 feet, so
She
it's
said
5 feet
5 and
out,
3.
then another 3 for the
All
additional
right.
porch.
Another
Well,
3.5.
So
The
the
deck-
rest of the porch,
So you
the rest of the porch
basically-
spread will be 8 then, so it's.
No, the deck is 8 feet 6 inches.
8 feet.
8 feet 6 inches, and then when you
5
get to the
feet of that will be the
it's 5 feet,
vestibule.
3 feet, okay.
Correct. And the existing stoop that's there presently is about 4 foot, 4.5 feet out. So we're looking to go 5 feet with the vestibule around the same depth.
On your application, you state that front yard required 25 feet, proposes 16 feet 5 inches. That's what's the extension of the deck and everything else?
The 25-foot setback is not to the current stoop, it's to the foundation of the house.
Right?
And then that 16.5-foot setback would be to the front of the vestibule.
Okay, so you were asking for a 3.5, 8.5 foot variance. Okay.
But essentially, it's 3 feet further than the current
Well,
vestibule.
I'm going by
Right.
that, yes.
Yeah.
So it's 8 feet
Which
to
he
the
needs an
front.
8.5 foot variance.
And then how far, the bump outs on the side, the steps, how deep are they?
The steps are 4 foot each on either side, 4 foot into the, past the edge of the deck into the side yard.
So basically, you're not changing the footprint of the house, you're only putting this deck on the front that comes out 8 feet and bumps out 4 feet to the left and 4 feet to the right of the existing house.
Correct. Our intention is not to extend the footprint of the house. It's
Right.
only to create this raised porch
Right.
with a vestibule. And the intention, structurally wise, is not to have any more footprint foundation.
I think it's a very elegant, it's a very nice solution. I like it. I think one of the problems, the only problem I see is the fact that those stairs are kicking out to the side, which is kind of, encroaching on the space that you have between yourself and your neighbors. But I mean, obviously, I think as we mentioned in the work session, your neighbors' input regarding that would be, very helpful if they're okay with those steps. But I think it looks very nice.
So we're also requesting an extension along with this front porch, an extension of the existing driveway, which in the photograph you can see that there are currently 2 parking spaces in front of each of those garage doors. And in the center, we're proposing to remove that the existing steps and walkway, and we would like to extend that driveway across the full front of the house to allow for a 3rd parking spot when need be. Right now, if there's anybody parked in the garages and then someone's parked behind them, it's a bit of a rigmarole to get the cars situated to let the person in the garage out. The 3rd parking space in the center would allow for less cars on the street at times, and would not greatly change the existing condition or impact the neighborhood, as currently there are already 2 cars that are parked in the driveway pulling out. It would be just a 3rd car in the driveway and once again off the street.
Sorry, one quick thing. Bill, you had mentioned in the work session that they might possibly need a separate variance just for that driveway piece, because that wasn't on the original plan. Is that correct?
No, no. The driveway's on the original plan. We don't allow parking in the front yard.
So that requires a variance.
Variance, correct.
Is that variance on their application?
That's kind of what we're asking. Is
Let me look and see.
I just want to make sure if they do are trying to get this done by July, that they don't have to come back again for a separate.
No, I think we got everything, but let me just look and make sure.
Excuse me.
But if you're eliminating those steps there, you're not really taking any green space out. That's just a walkway and steps in that picture, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, it's all pervious currently, and it would remain pervious if we were to just add macadam in place of the current concrete steps and walkway.
So, question for Bill, why is that considered the front yard if it's just a walkway and steps?
Front yard goes from the curb to the front of your house.
Okay.
Even if it's paved. Okay. I didn't see anything with the driveway in there. I might have just missed it though, Bill. Sorry. I just want to make sure that you guys don't have to. Yeah, we want to make sure we get you all done here.
Say, Bill, I have a quick question. So, we don't allow parking in front of homes, is that correct?
Your required parking or your parking that you want to put in is not allowed in the front yard.
Okay. It's quite obvious that they park in the front now. Were they given a variance at another time to be able to park there now?
I believe when the house was built, the parking requirements were less, and the garage met those requirements.
I see. I see. Thank you.
So, Bill, is the driveway in there? It is. Okay, so if we give them this approval in July, they're all set for the driveway too. I just want to make sure, since you had raised that question.
Is the front yard variance, the request in there?
Yes.
Oh, it is, okay.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Sorry, I just want to make sure we
Thank
didn't hit
you.
any snags.
Okay, besides the front porch deck coming out 8 feet more and 4 feet to either side, what other area variances are you seeking?
So there is an existing shed in the rear yard and an existing rear deck, both of which were there prior to Ms. Donovan purchasing the property. They were both built without permits by a previous owner. They've been there quite a while, I believe. I think the only variance that's required to legalize those is a rear yard variance for the rear deck, and that is a variance of, we're looking to allow the existing setback of essentially 18.5 feet, 18.48 feet, where 25 feet is required.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Oh, the required rear yard in this zone is 25 feet,
Right.
and we're requesting a variance to allow the existing 18.48 foot setback to the rear deck.
So the deck's already there?
The deck is existing. It's an existing rear deck that was built by a previous owner.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Sorry, as an aside, Bill, when we give these kind of retroactive approvals to something that, obviously this homeowner had nothing to do with, Is there some mechanism within, your department to make sure that this structure is safe, given that it was never approved or never inspected?
Yes, she's filed to legalize it, so once the variances are granted, we'll do an inspection.
Okay, so that's included in your inspection for the rest. Okay, great, thank you. I just want to make sure it's safe.
And a point of record, then, if it were not approved, then they need to take the structure down? If we were to say, no, we're not giving you the variance for the existing deck, they need to take it down?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, shed and deck, anything else?
I believe that's it. Just to kind of sum it up. So we're seeking to add a vestibule and a covered porch at the front of the dwelling to provide better security and protection for the residents entering, and also it creates more of a single-family look to this existing two-family home. For that, we're seeking a front yard variance and a side yard variance, a slight FAR variance, I believe, for the additional vestibule square footage, and a variance for the side yard buffer, which I believe is a requirement of 5 feet. And we are also seeking a variance to the parking requirement of not allowing parking in the front yard, so that a third parking space could be added in place of the existing steps and walkway. And we're also seeking to legalize the rear deck that has a non-conforming rear yard currently.
Good. Any questions from board members?
Yes, I got one. The deck in the back, is it attached to the house?
It is.
It is? Okay. And the front one's going to be attached to the house too?
It will be.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion to open the public hearing regarding 180 Lake Avenue for the area variance. There is no use variance request, just an area variance. Do I have a second on?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to get up and speak regarding 180 Lake Avenue area variance? Please state your name and address for the record.
Christina, 14 Westview Avenue. So
Welcome.
I'm in support of it. I think that living in the area, that anything to take a car off the street and leave more parking is great, so I support it.
Great. Anything else? Oh, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. Anyone else? Your name and address for the record, please.
Tuckahoe, 180 Lake Avenue.
Welcome.
I actually moved in most recently, and area is a beautiful area. The only one concern we have is really the park in the back. And the park creates a lot of congestion, a lot of foot traffic. With that, it also creates a little concern with people walking by and different types of it just creates a little concern when people walk down the block. Unfortunately, the steps are protruding into, well, they're elevated above from the garage, what creates a little dip. So sometimes during the snow season, you don't recognize that the stairs are there. It's a safety concern for any mailman or anyone delivering packages. In addition to the fact that we do have a tenant that is a little older, so it's a little difficult for him to find the steps and get up there. It would update the front area, the front appearance of the home. You know, some of the homes are a little bit older, and across the street there was actually a remodel and a complete gut, as well as there's another home down the street that's actually updating the front of the house, so it actually created a little bit more vibrant area and more modern look.
So that I'm clear, you're in favor of removing those stone steps in the middle?
Correct.
And roughly, how many steps of that are there in the middle? Roughly.
Probably about 8 steps total.
And then the
So it's a a long walkway.
Yeah, the proposal,
Walkway, which is probably, I'd say probably,
right here.
10 feet. And then you hit the first staircase, the first step at the bottom. Then you walk about 8 steps up, and then that's where you're at the house.
But just to clarify, so part of the reason you'd like to do the vestibule is kind of safety and security issue with people walking by and kind of,
People walking by, if we ever have any deliveries or packages, they're just left out in the open,
Ah.
so exposed to the elements.
okay,
Which, you know, is the most conducive to
great.
receiving home delivery. So.
Good.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public would like to speak?
My name is Nicole Donovan. I live at 180 Lake Avenue. So obviously this.
Welcome.
Thank you. So obviously this is my house, and I support the suggested plans. Just to be clear, I mean the main reason for this is really to improve. Essentially, you walk into my living room. I live on the right-hand side, and you walk directly into my living room. So from an energy efficiency standpoint, it's really not efficient. So the vestibule will help to prevent loss of air conditioning and heating, and also it does help to improve just the look of the area. I mean, you know, as Francesco mentioned, there's a house right in the corner that's a brick house which is built. It's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, and there's another one that's a couple houses down. So obviously, I want my house to look nice too, and I think this will help. And you know, also just parking. I do have a tenant that currently lives upstairs. It parks in the driveway, and the way it stands right now. He does park in the driveway, but that means that I can't use my garage. So it's essentially, as much as it's stated as having 4 parking spots, it kind of doesn't, because if he parks there and my car's in the garage, I can't get it out. So the reason I really would like to have the 3rd parking spot is really so that we can actually use the existing 4 parking spots, and also the tenant has a place to park the car.
I like your 3 parking spot idea, but just to play devil's advocate, if someone parks in that middle, I don't think you're going to be able to get a car around them through the garage. I don't think you're going to have space, because that middle part there is probably, what, 8 feet wide, the steps? I'm just, again, I like your middle driveway idea, but just to warn you, I wouldn't plan on getting cars out of the driveway, out of the garage, past.
I can go back to the architect. The intent was that you could technically fit 3 cars.
It's a good intent, yeah.
So,
Now, you're doing all new siding on the front, and it looks like you're extending out that kind of little roof right there?
And the reason why I wanted to actually have, you know, it was the 5-foot vestibule in addition to the, Sarah mentioned, 3.5 feet, was essentially so that you have space to walk in the front. Because, I mean, I like the idea, I just think that it looks a lot nicer. It looks almost, you know, it does give the look of a one-family home. I think it's much more appealing. The only other option would be if we didn't do the 3.5 feet in front, we'd have to have 2 doors on the side, and then it would just look like a house without a door, which I thought was kind of weird. So that was why, when Jonathan and I, Jonathan's the architect, were talking about it, I said, well, is there any way we can have some room in the front so you can actually walk in the front?
No, I mean, the only thing, since I'm not at the next meeting, guys, if we could raise with the architect, I'm not sure how you open that door and safely, if there's only 3 feet in front of the door, right? There's only 3 feet in front of the door. When you open that door, in. That makes sense then. And then, what was the other question? One thing I just want to clarify is that in general, this board does not like to give precedent to expanding properties towards the street. You know, we try to avoid that, but we need to find circumstances for your individual property which warrant such an exception, you know, for its specific needs, which it sounds like you have safety needs, security, and kind of energy efficiency, the fact that you just walk into your living room. I just want to make sure we have on the record that this is kind of a special circumstance, and the fact that you're building this porch is not a 2-story structure, it's a porch that you can kind of see both sides of. Thank you.
And I personally like the fact that it will look like a 1-family now instead of a 2-family. But yes, it is something we need to consider and weigh, because you are coming out an additional 8 feet and then, 4 feet on each side. So we need to review this and come up with a determination. But your input is great, and it will look better. That's for sure. Yeah, it's very important. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, I would like to make a motion to keep this public hearing open. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the public hearing will stay open, and we will do our due diligence, and we will see you next meeting in, wow, July. And we'll ask any questions of your architect at that time. And if there's anyone else from the public, of course, we'll listen to them. And you're welcome back, of course, so we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we close the meeting, I would just like to welcome our newest ad hoc member. Anthony Fiore was approved by the board a couple of weeks ago, and he is now a ad hoc member for the Zoning Board of Appeals. I've known Anthony on and off for the past several years. He's always been involved in the community, and I think he's a great addition to this board, so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Ready to get started.
Thank you. Anybody else have any,
Welcome and good luck.
Thank you.
any other business? Seeing none, I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Tuckahoe. Thank you.